Hello, everybody. Let's see, I'm live. I haven't done a live stream in a bit. I think it's been a few weeks. There's nobody on here. But if it's you and you're watching the replay, then just stick around for a few minutes. I'm going to wait until some people get on here so that I can get to the questions. So again, if you're watching the replay, I have a Facebook group. The link is in the description below. It's called Moving to Costa Rica. So I asked a question yesterday. You know, what do people want to hear in a live? What questions are people having right now? So I do like to come on here when I have time to do Q&A sessions. So it's been a while. So here I am. If you're watching in the group, I just want to make sure that you're aware that I have a YouTube channel. We've had a lot of new members in the group over the last few weeks. So I just want to properly introduce myself. If you're a new member, my name's Sarah Lena. I help people move to Costa Rica. So like before, during, after, the entire process. So. And each situation is unique, so it's a lot of fun. So we have a few people on here now. So again, for those of you who are in the Facebook group, hi. You can go ahead and, so if you're going to make a comment as I'm speaking, then I won't be able to, oh, okay, I can see your name, great. I'm going to be answering some of the questions that people had posed from my post. So if you're watching on the YouTube channel and you're not a part of the Facebook group, if you're on Facebook, it might be beneficial for you to join. I like to keep it a nice, happy group culture where people are kind. That's important to me. So feel free to always go in there and ask whatever questions you have. I find that many of the people in the group are very helpful. And I do pop on there every day just to check things and answer things where I can as well. And then if you're in the group again, there's a whole YouTube channel that you have to your disposal with lots of information. So I'm just going to get started on some of these questions that you all had. And then I will go through, yes, we're live. Then I'm going to go through and look at some of the questions that you guys post in the comments. And another thing, if there's a question that I don't know the answer to, because it's literally impossible for me to know everything, but I'm always learning. So if there's questions that have come up that I don't know the answer to, I'm going to note them. I'm going to make a note and then like make myself a nice little list, and then I'm going to send out an email, I would say within the next week, with answers to those questions. So if you're not on my email list, or if you've, I don't know, this is your first time knowing who I am, I think my email, I think I made a banner with my email, if I did that correctly. Wait, did I do it? Let me make one. Okay, there's my website. So I think I just did it. Okay, this is my website. So if there's questions that I don't answer on here, that I just simply don't know, but I'll do the research within the next week, I'm going to send out an email with answers to all those questions. So if you're not subscribed, you can go over to that website that's right down here in the banner, and you can subscribe on my website. I don't overly spam. You'll get a few introduction emails just to get to know me a little bit more, why I'm talking about Costa Rica, a little bit of what our experience has been here so far. And then after that, I always try any email I send, I make sure it has value. I don't like just to email people for no reason. Because I don't like getting those emails, so I don't send them either. But you will get a few just introducing. So let me get into some of the questions here, and then I will go through the comments and see what other things are coming up. But first, how's everybody doing? Where are you guys? Let me know where you're. Okay, so Doug's from Canada. Where's everybody tuning in from? Hi, Roseanne. Hi, Sarah. Hyra here. Yes, we use Hyro as our car rental guy. He's very helpful with car rentals. And yes, there we go. He's posted his link. You can do that. I work with him a lot. Okay, so let me get to some of the questions that were in the post I made first. 60 comments. I looked at that today. I was like, wow, y'all were busy. Okay, sorry, technology. Okay, I don't want to open that chat right now. Okay, all right, let's look at some of the comments that I have. All right, so Louise had the first question on Facebook. She said, because of the new restrictions of bringing your pets onto flights, even with proper paperwork, I've been looking into charters, not to mention the other restrictions. So if some of you don't know, a lot of the airlines are not going to be allowing emotional support animals, I guess as of now. I think it was about as of February. I'm not sure if it's all airlines, but this is something that has come up in discussion with me and a lot of my clients, because some of them do have those more emotional support animals. So just so you have a heads up that might have to find another creative way to get your animals down here if that is the route that you are going to choose. So in terms of private charters, there are people that are looking to organize them. So I remember there was a Facebook group. It was called Costa Rica Bound. If anyone's on here and it's like already organizing or in the works with someone organizing maybe a private charter from Canada, if you guys aren't aware, Canada did a bunch of things. They canceled their flights to, I guess, like tourist destinations, which includes, or vacation destinations, which includes Costa Rica. But there seem to be some ways, I guess you could fly from Canada to the United States. We're still sorting all this out, like figuring out. That's why I love the internet. You know, we all work through it together. Okay, what are the solutions? So I'm a very solutions-focused person. So in that case, it looks like some people are going to be flying from Canada to the United States to Costa Rica. Some have mentioned using Copa Airlines. So I guess you could go from Canada down to another country. I don't remember the name of it. I don't think it was Panama. And then flying to Costa Rica. So I think there are some ways around it, but it has put a little bit of a damper on some people's plans. But just remember that we are solutions focused. Okay, someone wrote in the comments, it's about $4,000 per person for about 8 people for a charter. Right, well, that's good to know. So maybe, again, if someone knows where, I think, you know, it was the Costa Rica Bound Facebook group that people were organizing that last time. And maybe I'm just going to make myself a little note. So I'm going to add this into the email that will go out within the next week of, you know, what's going on with these and like what kind of solutions are people coming up. Solutions for people. For people coming. Sorry, bear with me. Okay, so I'm going to look a little bit more into that over the next week as you all are getting, you know, all the people from Canada are getting creative with their solutions, and we'll see, you know, what people are doing and what they're suggesting and what's working. American Airlines is flying pets from the U.S. I'm not sure who this is because it just says Facebook user, but I think American Airlines is not allowing emotional support pets. So, okay, so here we go. All right, lots of back and forth here. Okay, so Kara on Facebook asked, I would like to hear info about mosquito and repellent to use, clothing, and I recently have read a lot about bed bugs there. Thanks, I enjoy all the information that you can provide. So for mosquito repellent, I mean, I personally just recommend citronella. I should have brought it. It's just in my kitchen. It's like, you know, those little essential oils. You can get a little essential oil of citronella and dilute it with like coconut oil or water and just spray it. I've always found that to work. There's also some other oils that mosquitoes don't like. So if you're looking for something a little bit more natural that's not going to be as like intense as off or some of those other brands, then honestly, I just recommend a thing of citronella. It works. It lasts a while. You can find it here. You can bring it with you, or you can also find it here in Costa Rica. So I recommend citronella. And it also really just depends on where your house is. So before I moved to this house in Jaco, I was up in Playa Hermosa, which you guys have maybe seen some of my lives and videos up there. And there's a bunch of Playa Hermosas in Costa Rica. So I was in the Playa Hermosa that's near Jaco here on the Central Pacific. That house had so many mosquitoes in the evening. I mean, I had to shut the doors. I couldn't sit outside. Like I would have to put on a very strong fan. And so it could just depend on the home. You know, how much shade is there? Is there standing water nearby? There's a lot of factors that can determine, you know, why one house may have more mosquitoes than another location that could just be very close by. So that's also just something to keep in mind for your rental too. And yeah, if it's very shady, if it's very in the jungle, there's just a lot of determining factors. So for mosquitoes, I would just recommend citronella. Oh, and then she said, I've read a lot about bed bugs there. So if you guys have ever followed any of my things, I do have a sample packing list on my website, and I've mentioned this a few times about what maybe you can bring to Costa Rica. You can bring a bed bug mattress cover. They're pretty cheap. You can get them on Amazon. Bring one with you. You could even just getting a queen size would suffice, because that most beds that you might be renting will be full or a queen. I mean, I've had houses like this house has a king. I've had a few others that have had kings too. Not very frequently, usually houses that are American owned or like owned by people from the United States or Canada. Sorry, mind. And, but if you get like a queen, that should pretty much cover you. And it kind of depends. So, you know, if you're in a pretty nice rental, you know, probably might already have really nice linens, and you may not, like I haven't had to use a bed bug mattress cover for years, for a while, because I've been in nicer rentals. So, you know, it's just going to depend on your rental as well and where it's located. But it can't hurt to bring one. So then you can sleep good at night not having to worry about it. Let's see. Okay. Alrighty. Okay. How about the best way to find rentals? Mark on Facebook asked, how about the best ways to find rentals? I'm thinking about moving to Hako in March for a few months, but not sure where to look. Thanks for your time. So rentals really depend on what area. You know, we look for rentals for the way that we look, let's say for rentals in the Central Valley, so outside of San Jose, is really different than how we look for rentals in the South Pacific. Or even here in Hako. So usually the first place that we check, and I do have a video on my YouTube channel that explains exactly how to look for long-term rentals. Again, it can kind of vary from area to area, but I do note some of the tools that we use, as well as we have our own network of personal contacts that we reach out to that we know usually will have rentals on hand. So that I can't provide you with all that because, but the online tools that we use could be Facebook. Encuentra 24 is a website, but then that website's not really used for the Southern Zone, whereas Facebook is. So if you're going to be looking in Hako, I have personal contacts here that I always check with. We'll check Facebook Marketplace. We'll check, there's a rental group down here as well that we'll check. And between those 3 personal contacts and those other 2 resources, we usually are able to find rentals. And in terms of rentals, just keep in mind that if you're looking in January, December, it's going to be a little bit difficult. The prices are going to be higher because that's our high season, tourist season from December to, April. So just keep that in mind when you're looking at rentals. If you're going to be moving during that time, also, if you're willing to commit 3 months, 6 months, 1 year, you're going to start seeing better prices on rentals. Okay, so let's see. So Alan on Facebook has a question. My question is for K through 12 schools. We're looking close to the beaches, but not on a beach, higher elevation. How do you find information on private schools in each area? We would like American accredited school. That's my topic request. All right, so I guess it would depend which beach town. So a lot of beach towns do attract expats. So people who are moving from other countries to Costa Rica. And if those children do not have their residency here, then they cannot attend public school. So private school options are pretty wide here, which is great because there's a demand. Anywhere there's expats are going to be settling. I guess many people think, oh, I want to go to Costa Rica. I want to live by the beach. We do have a lot of clients who are like, I like the beach, but I don't want to be uncomfortable. So I want to live, maybe more in a mountainous area. So for schools, I would say start narrowing down some towns that would be a good fit for you. And then there usually is a Facebook group for each town. You can ask for school recommendations. There's Google. So we've done school searches for our clients too when we've narrowed down, because maybe they're like, all right, these 3 places we think we would like to start in any of them, but the school could be a determining factor of where you actually might want to start out. So I would narrow down to the towns, and then, you could do a Google search. You can ask for recommendations on schools, see what other people are doing, and obviously see if it's accredited. Okay, Daniel said, we are using a mail forwarding service. What's the best service in Costa Rica to be able to have our mail sent so we can pick it up? All right, so I'm going to try and find the best service. I know of some options. So usually sometimes clients they'll ask me like, how do I get my mail forwarded to Costa Rica? And I'm like, well, what do you need to receive? And then sometimes they're like, well, I guess nothing actually. We don't really have formal addresses down here. Like, I'm not even sure I guess I could look up my address, but it's like 300 meters from hotel, blah, blah, 100 meters east, house, cream colored house with a black gate. That's pretty much our addresses here. So I can say I really enjoy that I don't receive mail, and I haven't had mail for many years now. So for mail, you could have, I'm going to put that on my note of thing to say, okay, what would be the best, if you really do want to receive something and you need it in your hands, what would be the best way? Something that people do. So I used to work for a tax company, and they use this, this program is called Earth Class Mail. So essentially your mail would get forwarded to to them, and they would scan it and email you and let you know that you got some mail, and then you could view it, ask them to save it, or ask them to shred it, or, you know, you can download the document. So that could be a possible option, but let me look into what people are doing. Another thing is you can also have a PO box here. So if you could get your mail forwarded to a PO box here, that's another option. But let me see, I guess, what would be like what I can identify as the best option for those cases that you actually want to receive the mail in your hand here in Costa Rica, or you want to, so I mean a post office box. If you want to mail something specific, there are some courier services. So there are options. There's ways you can get things down here. But then think about it, do you really need anything? I mean, me personally, my mail goes to my parents' house, and if it's something really important, they'll let me know, but that's honestly almost never. So now with technology, everything can just be emailed, which is really helpful. Alrighty, so, okay, Philip is in the Facebook group, asked about COVID-19 restrictions. All right, so as of now, I mean, for entry, you need the COVID insurance. So I just did a whole video about current entry requirements right now. I think I just posted that video last week. So you can go check on the YouTube channel. And I think I also posted in the group just to let people know what are the entry requirements and some of the mistakes that I'm seeing as people, you know, some of the problems I'm seeing people run into as they're trying to navigate that or complete it. So for restrictions here, well, we have driving restrictions. So for example, my car is not allowed to drive on 2 days out of the week. And that depends on the last number of your license plate. So depending on the last number of your license plate, there's 1 weekday you cannot drive, and there's 1 weekend day that you cannot drive. We have driving curfews during the week, Monday through Friday. I think we're not allowed to drive from 10 p.m. to 5 a.m. And on the weekends, I believe it's 9 to 5, like 9 p.m. to 5 a.m. we're not allowed to drive. And then things are closed on the weekend at 9. Things close on the, you know, during the weekday at 10. So, you know, like bars or things like that. So that's kind of the restrictions that we have. I mean, you need to put on a mask if you're going to go indoors. So if you're going to go to a bank, to a grocery store, any kind of store that's indoors, you need to put on a mask. For walking around outside, for going to the beach, you don't need to have, you're not required to have a mask on, at least here in this area. I mean, I would say maybe people in San Jose or in areas where there's a denser population, you will see people wearing their masks outside because the population's more dense. But even here in Jaco, I see a mix of people on the street. Some are wearing masks. I would say some, you know, some are not. I'm not sure on the percentage on that. But there's so much room to be outside here. So, you know, obviously this is a crazy time that we're all going through, and it's definitely made me feel very grateful to be here because I just feel overall, yes, things are different. Not a whole lot we can do about that right now. But overall, I felt that we've been, like, I've personally feel like I've been able to live a more free lifestyle. I mean, other than not being able to drive after a certain time or on certain days, or, you know, having to put a mask on inside, which is fine. You know, I feel overall that things are as normal as they can be. You know, I'm still happy. So that's kind of what it's been like. And I don't even think my daughter has any idea there's even a pandemic going on. So, you know, that's okay. That's good. Okay, so let's see. Next question. Okay, Tara says, love reading your posts, very informative. We're planning on coming the end of February and would like to hook up with some expats. We are ages 62 and 70, who can give us their take on living in Costa Rica and enjoying getting together over food and drinks. So I guess what I would recommend for that is, you know, depending on where you're going in the country, looking for a Facebook group, since I know you're on Facebook, and maybe even just putting a post. Hey, we're going to be in town from, you know, this date to this date. We would love to meet up with someone. Would anyone be open to meeting up? Perhaps someone would be. I mean, I find people here to be very friendly. So you might find some helpful, friendly people who would be happy to meet up with you. You never know. Or, you know, just go where people are going. So even just going to the beach for sunset. Or so for here in Jaco, there's a place I'd like to go to. It's called El Point. I like to go there for sunset. It's kind of like on the beach, but it has a restaurant. My daughter can run around. Like, me and my friends will get together with our kids. It's really nice. It's a great spot just to, like, meet people, connect, get to know others, and be outdoors, you know? Okay. Oh, yeah. FYI, yes. Something to note about the cars, car rentals do not have license plate restrictions. Sorry, that is important to note. So if you are going to be here on vacation or you're going to be doing an exploratory trip for your move, if you do have a car rental, there are no plate restrictions. But however, the curfews do still apply. So just keep that in mind. So yeah, if you do come on vacation and you rent a car from a formal agency, it's not like you're going to be restricted on the days that you can drive. Okay, Karen on Facebook asked about any updates on the duty-free bill. No. Not yet. I know that's something that everyone's been waiting for, and I know it's kind of really, so if you don't know what the duty-free bill is, don't quote me on every little part of this, but there's a proposed bill in Congress that is trying to attract more expats to move to the country. So that would be not having import taxes on like a shipment of household goods. It's proposing to not have import taxes on one car that would be used for personal use. There are some, you know, we won't know what it is until it's actually passed. But it's been very attractive for people. You know, imagine not having to pay all the taxes on your personal items that you want to ship here. And actually, I think next week I'm going to have somebody come out and speak about shipping. And of course, the car thing's a big deal. You know, a lot of people are weighing, okay, do I bring my car? Do I not bring my car? The import taxes are pretty crazy right now for cars. So I really just suggest people not bring their cars unless you're like, woo, I got a lot of money. I don't care. I'll pay them and I love my car. Then go for it. Do what you want. But, you know, if you want to save money, there's plenty of cars here in the country. And I think someone had already asked about kind of the process of purchasing a car, which I will touch upon a little bit when I get to that question. But so far, no updates yet on that duty-free bill. And when something does come out, I will definitely send out an email as soon as I know. The lawyer that I work with, which you guys have maybe seen in the past videos, his name's Andres Gomez. He does residency, all kinds of stuff. I love him. And he always keeps me updated on everything that's going on. That's my dog. Are you too big? Okie doke. All right, so Steve asked, this probably doesn't have a wide audience, but we're planning on starting up a nonprofit charity in Hako when we come down. Anyone you can steer us to for advice would be great. I think Matt, Tamara, the real estate dude, mentioned on your YouTube interview that he did that at one point. Well, that would be something that I would want to consult with a lawyer with. In terms of what type of lawyer, that would be a good idea. I can try to find that out. Okay, in terms of Hako, so like I know, like Steve, you're asking specifically about Hako. I do know of an organization. I'm not sure if they're nonprofit. They might be. It's called Hako Impact. They have an office in Hako Walk. I believe they do those things. So maybe they could even be a good like first contact to reach out to find out if they are a nonprofit to begin with, and you know, maybe if even what you want to do could complement what they're doing, you know, working together with others in the same community that are, you know, both have the same goal, want to improve the community. Someone asks, is this live or Memorex? I'm not sure what a Memorex is, but yes, this is live. And I will go through the questions that are coming through via YouTube and Facebook. Okie doke. Okay. All right, Annika on Facebook asks, hello, I would like to know about family-friendly communities. I learn a lot about La Ecovilla and San Mateo, which sounds really interesting. Are there any more communities like that in different areas? So that's something I'm going to take a little note on here. I know that they do exist, but of course it can be maybe hard to find in like a Google search. You know, as like, maybe I'm sure some of these communities aren't like SEO expert whizzes, as neither am I. So let me take note of that. That would be maybe something that would be good to ask in a general expat group, as some people may know of one that would never appear in a Google search, or that might be small, but a really great one. I also do have a contact that I'll reach out to ask this question as well. So let me just take a little note of this. I'm just going to copy and paste that over here, and we'll get to it. We'll get to it when we get to it, right? Okay. And we'll get to it in the email that I'll send out. So that's something I need to take a look into. Okie dokie. Okay, Deanna has a question about the healthcare system and residency. So I do have some videos about healthcare in Costa Rica, and I have a video about residency. So there's a great video interview on my channel with Andres Gomez. I think it's called like How to Get Residency in Costa Rica. The link to my channel is in the description here. So if you're on Facebook and you're not sure what that is or where to find it, you can go on that channel, like click the videos button, scroll down, you'll see How to Get Residency in Costa Rica with Andres Gomez. So that talks about the different types of residency, some of the documents that you'll need to have with you. And that should answer all those questions. Like I could go into like a lot of depth on it here, but then I'm not going to get to the other questions. So it's already covered there. And I'm not really sure what particular questions that you have about residency. So that should help you determine if you even qualify to file for a certain type. And the healthcare system. So, well, the healthcare system overall, I mean, in Costa Rica is rated to be very good. There's the public healthcare system, which is something that you will need to pay into, whether you're going to use it or not when you get your residency, if you go that route. That like some expats, you kind of take advantage to get their prescriptions through there. But for like a regular doctor's visit, you know, at least here in Jaco or other towns that I've been, I can just go to the pharmacy. There can be a doctor there, and then it's really not that much, you know, maybe it comes out to $30, $40, $50, $60. Or when I used to go to Vita, I think maybe it was $60. So, but yeah, so I mean, overall, the healthcare here is great. A lot of people come here for medical tourism, dental tourism. So I think the standards here were great. My daughter was born in a private hospital in San Jose. I thought the standards were excellent there. She was born at Clinica Biblica, but I know SEMA is another very popular hospital up there. And there's some good hospitals. I would say the main ones are in San Jose. There's a private hospital in San Isidro. You know, there are private hospitals in Liberia as well. So the healthcare system is rated to be very good here in Costa Rica. Okie dokie. All right. Patty asks, we would like to hear about a service that works for us, that works for us to cover all aspects of a move from the States to Costa Rica. If your team does this, we'll set up a meeting. Okay. Well, that's what we do. So if you'd like to set up a meeting, well, we help with the entire move. So from someone who is like, I know I want to, first of all, you have to know that you want to move to Costa Rica. That would be the most appropriate time to get in touch with us. You know that you're going to move to Costa Rica. Then we help people from going from, okay, I know I want to go, but I don't have any idea how, what I need to do, what logistics need to be set up, how do things work there. Maybe you've been here before, maybe you haven't. So we walk you through like step by step through each of those things that come up, making sure that we fill in information gaps, making sure that you're equipped. And then when you arrive, we help people get settled in. So it's like, okay, I got here, now what? And it's not that intense of what do we do now that we're here? So we provide that ongoing support, which I think is really just as important as preparing for the whole move. It's like after you get here, there's still a lot to figure out. And my favorite thing, I just like to take things step by step because there's just no use to be overwhelmed with everything at once. So we just help people take everything step by step. Okay, next question. From research we have done, we like Sarah Piquet, want to find a farm for both animals and produce. So they're asking, do you have any suggestions for finding rentals? That could possibly be Encuentra 24, maybe check Facebook Marketplace. Not sure about a Facebook group, but I'm going to add it onto my list. I'll take a look and see what I can find. All right, I'll see what I can find, and I'll include it in the email. So I'm going to be sending out an email. If you guys have just kind of tuned in, for things that I don't know, I'm going to send out, I'm making a list. I'm going to send out an email with those answers after the live. Well, not after the live, within the next week. Okay, family reunion to rent a large beachfront home. Well, I would say if you're going to do that, you could just do, if it's like for a week, I mean, just do Airbnb, or you can go into an expat group, let people know how many rooms, what location. I mean, you're going to want to know what location you want to be at, how far from the airport do you want to be, how are you going to get from the airport to the home, do you need a chef, whatever. Figure out what things you're going to need for that. I don't typically deal much with vacation things, but you know, there are plenty of beautiful homes that you can rent for a family reunion, and it'd be good to know your budget as well. So just know what your budget is, know how many rooms you need, and what beach you want to be on, and see if there's something within that budget in that area, whether it's through Airbnb or anything like that, or any of the Facebook groups. Okay, Paul wants to hear about volunteer work and how as an expat you can get involved. That's a good question. So I would say once you've decided on the community that you're going to be in, and obviously, like, so this question was asked on Facebook. Most of these communities have Facebook groups, or, you know, you can just start asking around. Like, a lot of these towns are small. Like, for me, I'm like, woo, Haco is really big. But really it's not. When in comparison to even the small town I lived in the United States before I moved here, it's once you get here and you get settled in and you want to volunteer and you want to impact your community in some way, then I would just start talking to locals, talking to other expats, see what's going on in the Facebook groups. You know, the other people can give you an idea of where those gaps are, you know, what's needed in that community, what projects are already happening, and then seeing how you can get involved. Because I'm sure, hey, the more the merrier, right? Especially when you're trying to make your community better. So there's definitely ways to get involved in your community. I think it'd be good, but you're going to find those ways once you get here. Or if you're not here yet, but you're super eager, you know, find the Facebook group for that community and ask that question. Like, where can I get involved in this community? We're going to be moving here during this time. We'd love to just get involved in making a positive impact on it. I think that's great. That's actually something that I do talk about with clients is, you know, after you get settled and maybe if you're retired, you're not really sure what you're going to do with your time, then yeah, how can you positively impact the community that's around you? I think it's very important. Okay, Stephanie's asking Sarah, maybe a topic on what do you do if there's an emergency, a medical condition? What if there's a fire? What if there's a break-in? So we do have 911. So the emergency number here for Costa Rica, 911, is the same as, I know, the United States, and I'm gonna guess Canada. I don't know. I've never lived in Canada. So you could call 911. You know, call your police department, file a police report if there's been a break-in or any kind of robbery. You know, I would just call an emergency service, which would be 911. There may be some private emergency medical services in some communities, so that would be definitely something to look into. If you know where you're going to move, find out, is there a private emergency service that may have a faster response. Okie doke. Okay, Donald asks, if I arrive and apply for residency, but no, I don't qualify, how long do you think I could get away with staying? And I apply, do I need to stay for a certain amount of time? Well, I don't think a lawyer would allow you. I can ask Andres on this. I'm going to add this to the email. I'm going to repeat this question. I'm going to recommend not to do this. I wouldn't apply for residency without qualifying. I just wouldn't do that. I wouldn't do that to buy yourself more time. I know that there was a video posted with a loophole of how to stay in the country longer, which I don't agree with. It's basically suggesting applying or making an appointment with immigration for residency. But if you don't qualify for residency, then I would say don't apply, because you're taking up space for people who do qualify and do want to go through that process, and now their process might be delayed due to appointments being filled up, you know, things like that. So I wouldn't recommend it. So, you know, if you don't qualify for residency, then you're just going to have to enter and exit as a perpetual tourist. You know, you'll have to renew your visa in order to stay in the country. So I like to do things by the books. I'm sure there's people online that will tell you other advice that are in gray areas, but I don't like gray areas. I don't sleep well when there's gray areas. Okie dokie. I don't know if this is really a question, so I think I'm going to skip it, but I have addressed this person already via the comments. Okay, so I think I've gone through all the comments here that was on the Facebook post. So I'm going to go through the ones. Y'all are hanging on with me. If you've just joined within a bit, I've just been going through the comments that I received. I made a post yesterday in the Moving to Costa Rica Facebook group. I asked people, what do they want to hear about? Because I figured, you know, might as well just ask. I like to, you know, help you. I like to just come on when I can. Been really busy with people moving. but I did have some time, so I wanted to come on and say hello. Okie doke. So I'm going to go through the ones that are here that you guys are live commenting, because I am still live. So Mark asked, how is the COVID vibe now? I mean, I can only speak from personal experience. You know, I mean, life's pretty fine here. So, you know, we're just going to the beach, spending time outdoors. That's really it. So I hate to say it, because I don't know if some of you are in a city setting or cramped inside and you know, been having a hard time this last year with all this. But I would say, you know, depending on what area you're in down here, there's a lot of freedom to be outside. I mean, if you're a person that likes to wake up early and go to bed at a decent early-ish time, you know, you can pretty much spend most of your day pretty normally outdoors. So that's really nice. But no one's here is bickering or arguing that I've seen. So, I mean, everyone's friendly. People are kind. People are helpful. It's like overall, Costa Rica is just the people are very lovely. Costa Ricans are just absolutely amazing. And I've noted, and I've mentioned this before, a lot of people are like, oh, well, there's other countries that are cheaper. And I'm like, and okay, I haven't traveled everywhere. And honestly, I'm not that well traveled besides here, because I landed here and then I never left. Or, you know, I was like, well, this is great for me. So for me, it's the people. So even during this pandemic, I felt like the people, the Costa Ricans, also the other expats, you know, overall, I feel like the culture has been pretty positive, at least where I've lived. Again, I'm just speaking from personal experience and what I've observed, that people have been, it's been pretty, people are nice. That's nice. Okay, so hi Sarah, what is the best strategy for a border run for March 2nd? So Andres, the lawyer that I mentioned, did message me yesterday, and he told me that they're not going to be opening up the land borders for the March 2nd date. So that's when the tourist visas supposedly are going to finally come to an end. You know, they've will be what, over a year, like well over a year, that if you were here before the pandemic, that you haven't had to leave, if you just decided to stay. So as of now, that is going to end March 2nd. So I know that some people are going to do, I have asked around, some people are going to do Mexico. So you could fly to Mexico, come back to Costa Rica, or you can enter in Panama via land, but you cannot enter in Costa Rica. So you could enter into Panama and essentially fly back into Costa Rica. That could be an option, but it sounds like Mexico is kind of the way that some people are going. Okay, John's from Arizona. Hello. Wow, I've been on here for a while already. So I'm going, okay, from Boston, Outer Banks, North Carolina. What might be the temperature here? Let's see. I don't know. I'm like, well, I don't have my fan on and there's a nice breeze. That's why I like Costa Rica. It's really not, okay, my phone says it's 82 degrees. And I would say it's probably mostly about that. And again, I'm in Jaco. I'm in the Central Pacific. I can imagine the temperature might be hotter up in Guanacaste. I know it's drier up there. It's more of a dry rainforest. Here it's nice and breezy. I'm comfortable, but I'm pretty well acclimated to the coast, so it's nice. It's a nice day today. It's a nice sunny day, but there are clouds too. I'll show you guys what it looks like at the end of this. Okay, let's see what other questions have come in on here. I would love to know about private charter flights. Okay, I have that on my list to take a look into to see what people are organizing for that and where. Okay. Okie dokie. Still looking. Okay. Okay. So hi Sarah, how are you? My question is, can I get residency by putting $60,000 US dollars in the bank and then start a business or get a job there? Okay. So it wouldn't really quite be in that order. So again, I have a full residency video interview with the residency lawyer that is on our team and that I work with and that I send my clients to, because I think he's wonderful. And he does explain, so the type of residency that this person's talking about, they're talking about putting $60,000 US dollars into an account. That would be the rentista residency. So for that residency category, Costa Rica wants to see that you have some guaranteed income. So maybe it could even be from investments like dividends, that you have a guaranteed income of $2,500 for 24 months. So 2 years. So you have guaranteed. So that's just a file for your temporary residency. And again, we go all through the video. And I have other videos on my channel about like how to get residency in Costa Rica and what are the rules and how that works. But so, you know, if someone maybe doesn't have that investment or those dividends or that, it wouldn't be income coming from employment. That's not allowed because, you know, what if you lose your job? It's not something, it has to be something that's guaranteed that you're getting. That'd be that $2,500. So what some people do is they put $60,000 into an account here, or I think in that interview, Andres also mentions that you could put it into a trust in the United States, or I'm not sure about Canada. He does do residencies from all over the world, by the way. So it's not just, I just speak from the United States because that's where I grew up, and that's just kind of more of the knowledge that I have. And then with that $60,000, that shows $2,500 for 24 months. You know, that equals $60,000. So then that will get you your temporary residency. You cannot legally work with your temporary residency. And I have another video. I should start posting the video links too, of how to make money in Costa Rica legally. Again, by the books. How to make money in Costa Rica. And then I'm going to send you guys the residency interview. And I feel like that resident interview video will answer a lot of residency questions that you have. We really go into a lot of detail about that. So you could do that for your residency to file for the rentista. You're going to have to do the same process after 2 years to do your permanent residency. So just keep that in mind. So the money's kind of like tied up for that time. But the person asked, then start a business or get a job there. So you can start a business here as a tourist. And I do mention that in the how to make money in Costa Rica. You can legally, you know, start a corporation and have a business here. That doesn't mean that you can be the only person working in the business. Like if I was a hairstylist, I can't, you know, if I'm not a permanent resident, I can't just go open up a hair salon and be the only person in there doing the hair. You know, I could open up a salon and hire stylists, like people who are legal to work, whether it's Costa Ricans or people who are legal to work here in the country. I could administer the business. I can profit off of the business, but I can't just be the only one in there doing the hair or, you know, pizzas. I can't be just the one sitting there making the pizzas. Just as a little bit, but I do go through that more in depth in other videos. So you can start a business without your residency and profit off of it. You just can't be the only person working in it. You cannot get a job here until you have your permanent residency as well. So just wanted to clear that up. But the type of residency that you're talking about is the rentista. And if you want to know about other types, there's that other video on my channel, which again, it's the interview with Andres Gomez. And I'll post that into the description after this video is over and it processes. So you guys can just kind of click on those and easily access them if you want to watch. Okay, Che says, bringing pet in cargo advice. I'd like to spend significant time in Costa Rica this year through border runs. He knows about the closures and would want to do that while leaving my pet with a sitter. Okay. Well, I'm not sure if I have any advice to bring your pet in cargo. I'm going to add it to my list. Oh, that's going to depend on the airline. You know, I think this could just kind of vary on airline to airline. I'll see what I can find, see if people have posted about their own experiences, the do's and don'ts. And as far as if you're going to leave the country, like I don't bring my dogs back with me. Like I will have someone come watch my house, watch my animals while I'm gone. So if you're not going to be gone that long, or heck, I've even been gone for a month and I've had a house, you know, house/pet sitter to just keep the animals happy while I'm away. So that's what I would suggest rather than, you know, bringing your dog in and out, because there's going to be, you know, paperwork that's required to bring your dog into the country. So just keep that in mind, and to go back to your home country probably too. Alrighty, is there any nice places next to a port that's fairly cheaper? Maybe you're asking about rentals. I mean, I guess the biggest ports would be like Limon and Punta Arenas, but I'm not really sure. I guess maybe you're asking about living. I mean, I guess, yeah, Punta Arenas is the kind of nearest kind of port town up here near us on the Pacific side, and then Limon is over on the Caribbean side. Okay. Michael says, yes, every bill and statement I get is all via email. I guess the only thing I would get via real mail is from the state or federal government. So that's something to keep in mind. Yeah, if you're thinking about mail, then do you really need it? Can you get most of it online? Okay, Arturo asks, can I become a resident by simply buying some property? What is the easiest way? So real quick, pension or residency, you have to have a pension of at least $1,000 per month. In rentista, which I mentioned, that guaranteed income of $2,500, we're putting the $60,000 into an account. A property purchase as of now, you would have to invest either $200,000, that'd be the inversionista residency type investor. You would invest $200,000 into a property or business or something like that. So what would be the easiest, or, you know, or like me, my daughter was born here, residency. Get married, residency. So what would be the easiest? I guess, I mean, I wouldn't just come and all of a sudden frantically start searching for a property so that you can have residency. You know, then in that case, you might want to look into the rentista residency or something like that. Because really with property purchase, that's something that you want to make sure you're working with the right people. You want to make sure that you're choosing the right area. And I just have 2 interviews up on my channel, which this Arturo's commented on the from the channel for this question. And there's 2 real estate agents. So if you're thinking about purchasing property, I will go to my channel, watch these 2 interviews, because these are from real estate agents, and I talk to them because I know them. I like them. They're giving really great advice for anyone who wants to purchase in the country. They're agents. They're even telling you, like, slow down, like, make sure you're sure about your area. You know, this is what you want to look for in an agent if you decide to use one. You know, some reasons why you might want to use one. Using the right one can make a difference. So I wouldn't just recommend coming and rushing around looking for property just to get your residency. I would explore the other options so that you don't have that pressure. Okay, important to bring, Arturo had another question, important to bring a car. They work on how parts of it are. Yes, so if you are gonna import a car, okay, check to see what's the cost if you wanna import this car that you're like hell-bent on importing. If you really wanna do it, I guess go for it. If you decide that you wanna do that, make sure it is a car that yes, the parts are readily available, they're not too expensive, that they know how to work on the cars. So usually when clients I start working with them, they think, yeah, I think I want to purchase a car, but I have no idea whatsoever about the market. I don't even know what types of cars are down there. I don't even know what the price points are. That's when I usually recommend people go to websites like Encuentro24, which is like the kind of Craigslist of Costa Rica and some countries in Central America. And there's another one, CR Autos. So just to familiarize yourself, I'm always like, I'm a knowledge is power kind of person. So when you're making decisions, I just want to make sure that you're, number one, hooked up with the right people as you're going through a process, whether it's a car purchase, a property purchase, any kind of big ordeal, and just educating yourself, like just taking the time, educating yourself. So in the terms of cars, educating yourself on what's here, on what the prices are. So that would be the first step of even thinking about cars here, is educating yourself on the market, so you can make that decision for yourself. Okie dokie. Doug asks, is the law for people with residence only, or if you own property, or if there are 6 months a year? I'm not really sure I'm not really sure that, I don't really understand that question. Maybe if you could rephrase it or give me a chance to read it again. Is the law for people with residence only, or if you own property and are only there 6 months out of the year? I'm not sure which law. I mean, if you're talking about the one that they want to take off the import taxes and the home goods and the cars, I'm not sure if it's only for, I don't believe it's only for residents. I mean, I believe that would be for anyone who enters, but that's actually a good thing for me to follow up on, and I'll send that up in the follow-up email that'll come out over the next week. So let me just write that. So I guess we want to know, is that law only for people going through the residency process? I don't think so, but again, like, if I'm not 100% sure, just give me the chance to check it out, and so I can give you 100% sure answer. Because I don't want to contribute to the spread of misinformation. Okay, is there an update on the digital nomad bill? There is not an update yet on that. If you're not sure what that person's talking about, there is a bill proposed that gives, I think, a year visa to people who work from their computer, which is a legal way to make money while in Costa Rica too. I have that in that other video, which I will post in the description below as well, working from your computer. So they're proposing to have a year-long visa for those types of people. Okay, Deborah says, I'm 70. Is there a nice community for safety concerns? It's kind of hard for me to recommend because it's a pretty big country, and I don't know if you like the beach. I don't know if you like the mountains. I mean, safety is something obviously that you want to evaluate anywhere you go. And of course, even just at the home you're at or condo or whatever that ends up being. I think there's a lot of nice communities here, to be honest. So I would need that narrowed down rather than thinking of nice communities in the whole country versus, okay, this is the town or at least the area I'm looking in. Like, where's a nice place here? Thanks, Doug. Said if you've not given her a like, don't forget to. That's very sweet. So yeah, people on Facebook, make sure to check out the YouTube channel. There's a lot of information there that answers a lot of these questions that we're kind of going through. All right, someone said, what are our options now for flying from Canada to Costa Rica without taking even any COVID tests? So if you don't know already, there's no COVID test required to enter Costa Rica. However, when you want to go back to Canada, you need to check your home country's regulations because I know they're changing. Things are changing again. So, check, see what's going on with your home country. What are they requiring? There are places you can get COVID tests here done. And how about I actually send out a link in the email that I'll send out within a week with some answers to some of these questions. So send out locations to get COVID tests in Costa Rica. Okay, so I will send out a link of where you guys can find locations to get COVID tests if you're going to be in Costa Rica and you're going to need one to return back to your home country after your trip. Okay, so I like this question. I'm Canadian. Is there a preferred Canadian bank account that I should have or just get a Costa Rica bank account? So banking is always something that I discuss with clients. Usually they'll say, oh, I need help opening a bank account and I want to do this and do that. And so usually I always ask them, okay, what do you want to use the account for? So if it's just for going to the grocery store to pay for your groceries for that week, not sure if I froze, but I'm opening up a document here that has the information that the person's asking for. So if it's just for going to the grocery store or paying your rent, taking out cash to pay your rent, things like that, then this is what I recommend for my people from Canada. So, and I'll also talk about the one from the United States too, because I might have some USA people on here. So for Canada, from any country you're coming from, what I would recommend, this is a kind of a nice little midway. So you're not like, oh my gosh, I have to come down and open up a Costa Rican bank account and then start making wire transfers in, because you can only transfer in $1,000 per month as a tourist anyways. So FYI. So that may not even cover your expenses. So what I recommend is a bank card that has 0% foreign transaction fees. So that means that you're not going to be penalized for going to the grocery store and swiping it. So like, for example, I have Wells Fargo. If I go use that card at the grocery store, I'm going to get charged extra because I'm not in the United States. However, so for the United States, I like Charles Schwab. That's a great one because 0% foreign transaction fees. And for me, they refund your ATM fees. So if I need to go to the ATM 2 days in a row to go take out all my rent, then I'm not getting charged with, they're going to refund those fees. So for Canada, there is one, the Stack Prepaid MasterCard. So it's like a prepaid MasterCard that you would load money onto. But again, they have 0% foreign transaction fees and no ATM fees. So I think for me, that's a happy medium. So you don't feel like, oh, like, how am I going to transfer all my money down to Costa Rica? Or do I even want to do that? At least if you can have your money there, but be able to take it out here and use the card here without penalties, for me, that's like the ideal situation. I have a bank account here, but I honestly just use it to pay my electricity and my water. But I didn't do that for years either. I just started doing that, like, I don't know, within the last few months. Normally, I could just walk down the street and go pay it. No big deal. Okie doke. Has Costa Rica started vaccinations yet? I think so. I guess like other countries, they're possibly. How much are your services? We charge a flat rate of $1,500 just to help people through before, during, and after the move. Thanks for making this video. Is anyone watching on Facebook not hearing anything? Okay, maybe it was a speaker issue for that person. Okay, what is the best place for a family and with kids who love nature and the beach and interested in starting surfing? Well, gosh, that's a lot of, that's a lot of area to cover. I mean, South Pacific is good, kid-friendly, family-friendly, lots of nature. Here in Jaco, Playa Hermosa, Central Pacific, family-friendly, kid-friendly, lots of nature. Up in Guanacaste, kind of the same deal. Even surfing, you can go surfing in the South Pacific. You can go surfing here in Jaco. I've been doing that a lot lately. You know, up in Nosara and Tamarindo, you know, all these beach places, you can pretty much do that. So I have a video of what area of Costa Rica, like about all the areas of Costa Rica. It's like an hour long, but I go into kind of each of the areas. It's on my YouTube channel, and I go into each of the areas and discuss what the area is like. I mean, the best I can, or, you know, what are some of the differences in the, you know, like Guanacaste is drier, it has the longer drier season. It's more dry dry forest. You know, how is the South Pacific different? How are what are the communities like? So that video might help you narrow down some kind of area. We do consulting on areas, but I have to know a lot about someone to be able to start recommending areas. Like I need to know, I have a lot of questions I ask clients in order to actually start formally recommending things if the person's not sure where they at least want to start in their move. Okie dokie. Wait, I missed it. Sorry guys. I want to get through the rest of these because it's almost been an hour. There's so many comments. Where I lost where I was. I'm sorry. Okay, here we go. Okie doke. I want to live in Los Sueños. I heard the first step towards residency is to reach out to a good attorney. Is this true? Yes, I would say so. Absolutely. And if you'd like a recommendation, you can email me at sarah@lasaralena.com. We have an attorney that we work with. He's absolutely fantastic. I love him. His name's Andres Gomez. He's amazing. And I work with him because he cares about people. He's genuine. A lot of attorneys can do your residency process, but I just feel like he's got a genuine person, and I like those people. So feel free to reach out if you'd like me to connect you with him. So the sticker just flew by. Is my daughter's sticker. Do Costa Ricans understand English well? So that would depend on the person, depend on the area. I would say in most of the beach towns, you won't be like, oh my gosh, nobody understands me. Like I can't even figure out where the bathrooms are. So in areas where there's tourism, there are Costa Ricans who speak English. Some may speak English, some may not. The levels can vary. So I don't think you'll be hearing completely lost unless you're way up in the middle of nowhere. But hey, that's good to learn, you know? Learn your Spanish. Do you know a place that's okay? Okay. All these recommendations are kind of difficult because I need to know a lot more about a person, or I need to know a lot more about a family in order to make proper recommendations. Okay, well, do you know a place great for a family with kids interested in the mountains but also love surfing? Do you know a place? For that, I would recommend South Pacific. You have the mountains and you got the coastline. You know, it's like right there. It's awesome. So you can just be 5, 10, 15 minutes up a mountain road, but then be super down to the coast pretty fast. Great for kids. So maybe like Dominical, Uvita, Ojochal could be nice choices. You know, the schools are in Uvita. So if you have kids and you want to enroll them in some kind of school. Do you need a driver's license to drive an ATV? That's a good question. Well, I'm going to add that one to my list. I think so. But, you know, if I don't know for sure, I'd rather just look it up. I think you need something. Yes. But let's see. I'll send that to an email. We're an expensive country, but full of love and pura vida feelings. Yes, it is not the cheapest country. Yes, you can live here on a budget. I have lived here on a major budget years ago. I still think my expenses are probably way lower than they ever would be if I lived in the United States right now. But for me, I would rather pay more and be surrounded by amazing people and just this awesome culture that's here. So for me, that's worth paying extra. I feel safe here, feel happy. My daughter's happy. It's great. Okie doke. Oh, thank you, Misty. Appreciate your comment. Where in Costa Rica is there great surfing waves south of Jaco? So Playa Hermosa is just 3 kilometers south of Jaco. I think that's like gotten an award, or it's kind of like world renowned or something for its surfing. I'm not at that level yet. I'm not going over there yet, but one day I hope to. Right now I'm in Jaco. So yeah, great surfing in Hermosa. So that's Playa Hermosa. Manuel Antonio is pretty good for beginners. But I guess if I'm thinking like the bigger waves, so Playa Matapalo, actually people do go surfing at Playa Matapalo in the Osa Peninsula, and the Matapalo, that would be like 15 minutes north of Dominical. Dominical, super popular surfing destination. Playa Hermosa, which is above Uvita. So now we're in the southern zone, not the Hermosa near Jaco. That's good for surfing. And then some people will go down to Pavones in the Osa Peninsula. So like Pavones, Matapalo down there. So yeah, I mean, I would say it's everywhere, like in like south of Jaco. And then I know some people like, okay, in like Guanacaste, they'll go to Nosara or Tamarindo, things like that. So it's everywhere. Okay, Daniel says, we just booked our 4 dogs on American Airlines to go down there. That's awesome. I know Alaska Air also is doing pet cargo. Daniel is one of our clients, and I'm excited to see him and his doggies. If I work remotely as a U.S. citizen but have a rental, do I pay Costa Rican taxes? No, you do not. So if you're just here on your tourist visa, working remotely, you're not paying taxes in the country. How long can I stay without a visa? Well, actually, you will get a visa as you enter for 90 days. So you cannot stay past the 90 days. And your insurance needs to cover all that. So go to the last video that I just made last week if people have questions about how the entry requirements. I talk about how long you can get a visa, that your insurance needs to match how long your actual trip stay is going to be, what to do if you're not totally sure when you want to leave, but you know that you will leave. You know you have to leave, but you're just maybe not sure as to what date. You haven't really picked a flight yet. Is it expensive, time-consuming to receive mail? I work as an editor and receive hard drives. Well, in that case, I would recommend, if you need to receive something important like it would probably be kind of expensive. There are mail courier services that, basically the person would mail to a Miami address and it gets imported. There could be import tax on it. There's FedEx, there's DHL. So there are options to receive mail. I'm not sure how big hard drives are. That would be something to look into. Would you advise buying and then renting it out? That might be more of a question of what area, how much are your property taxes? What is the maintenance going to be like on your property? I'm not a real estate agent. I don't feel competent to give advice in that area. So, if you're looking to make big bucks on buying and renting it out, not sure if that's going to happen for you. If you're looking at some kind of an investment property to buy and do as Airbnb, then you'll probably want to talk to a good reputable agent and make sure that, make sure that you're not just relying on that where it's like, oh my gosh, like if another COVID happens one day, then all of a sudden you can't pay things for the property. I wouldn't have that as your main bread and butter. But again, I don't own a property, so I think you'd be best to talk to a professional on that. Is Dominical good for surfing and up in the mountains for a family with kids? Yes, it is. I love Dominical. I hope I will return there one day. I love that. That's my favorite town. I'm a personal trainer, nutritionist. How hard is it to work in Costa Rica? There could be gray area advice, which I'm not going to give you, but I'm just going to say that you legally cannot work into Costa Rica until you are a permanent resident. However, maybe you could do personal training, nutritionist via your computer online, gain some clients that you'd be working with virtually. That would be legal. How old are you when you're going to Costa Rica? Wow, that's a comment in full caps. I was 23 when I moved here. I'm 28 now. I'll be 29 in May. What websites, app do you recommend to learn Spanish? Well, I will have a better recommendation for you soon. So I'm in contact with this Tico guy. He's making a program. So it'll be a subscription program. He's still setting it up. But it's going to be like a nice organized curriculum. And I think it's great because it'll be learning Spanish, but also there's different, Tico speak differently. So there's like different words. And so he's going to go through the culture, talk about culture, of course, the language, be teaching the language. and also be able to shed light on those words or those sayings that maybe are specific to here to Costa Rica, which is fun. Sometimes I feel like if I go to another Spanish-speaking country, I'm not going to understand anything because I just understand Costa Ricans. Is it easy to get a job without residency? I would say no. No, it would not be legal. So I'm not going to ever recommend you guys that you do something that's not legal. Yes, other people can provide whatever advice online or whatever gray areas they know of or whatever their friends are doing or whatever they're doing themselves. But I'm never going to advise to do something that's not legal, especially when there's Costa Ricans here who need jobs, especially during this time. That's not something I will ever recommend. Okay, are there areas in Costa Rica with minimal casual tourists? I'm preferably looking somewhere in a forest. I would just say more rural areas. You know, if you can get out to a more rural, you know, maybe near San Isidro, down in the Osa Peninsula, maybe even the Caribbean, up the mountains, even Central Valley. The deeper you get into more rural areas, you'll see less people. If that's what you want. Okay, I'm glad this is amazing. I hope this is helpful. Okay, wait, I think I'm almost at the end here. And I really need to go. Okay, like been on here for almost an hour. Okay, good job. What is the website you mentioned to look at cars? So Encuentra 24. I'll just make a note of that. Send Encuentra 24, I think. Or CR Autos, just to educate yourself on the car market. If you're going to actually purchase a car, you know, we have our own recommendations of, you know, you got to make sure you get the title checked out. There's no liens, there's no infractions. Make sure you get a pre-purchase inspection done. Make sure the paperwork's done with your own lawyer. You know, we have one that we use for, I've had one lawyer, he's done multiple of mine and some of my clients. Andres, I always say him because he's awesome. So yeah, it needs to be done properly. This car purchase is going to be different here. So you don't run into problems, do the process correctly. So that's a lot of what we do. It's just advising people on the process so that they don't do it wrong. And then all of a sudden they don't actually have the title to their car, or, you know, there's a lien on it. There's a bank loan out on it. You know, that wouldn't be good. Do I have to be in the States to open a Schwab account? I'm already down here and learned the hard way about fees. So, I mean, I guess what you could do, if you still have your SIM card from the United States, because they're going to want to call you. So you can open up an account online. And that's what I did when I was in the States. I actually went into a branch and they were like, no, you have to open up the account online. This is for Charles and Schwab. This is the bank account that has 0% foreign transaction fees and refunds your ATM fees. So if you maybe want to go online and open the account, I'm not sure if your computer or phone or whatever that is being in Costa Rica could make a difference. So maybe using a VPN or just try to do it. And then they're going to call you on your, you know, your United States phone number to verify you. Make sure you're real human. Make sure, so I guess you just have the card sent to an address and you could have it DHL down here, or if you know someone who's coming, have them bring it with them. Like I got a new card in the mail, so like I just had a friend bring it with them. So that's what I would do if you want the card and you don't want to have to go all the way back there for it. That's what I would do. Raven asks, hi Sarah, have you ever been to the Jolly Rogers bar up the hill in Dominicalito? I sure have. It's been a while. I do like burgers and wings though. Can you recommend a good nature lodge to stay at? I'm not really sure. I would just have to know what area of the country you want to be in, I guess. I mean, there's some in Drake Bay, but that's really remote. There's some in the South Pacific would be great. You know, I would say focus on the southern zone because you're in that nice jungly like setting. I'm sure there's some near Avita. I know that maybe there's like Rafiki something lodge in Portolone. There's one, yeah, I would say near Dominical Avita in those areas because it's like more mountainous and it has a lot of nice nature. We want to avoid taking COVID tests. Can we fly into Costa Rica without going from a country that will make us get tested? Oh, well, I'm going to be covering this. So this person is just asking, can we fly to Costa Rica without going from a country that will make us get tested? Well, I mean, I guess, you know, if you could get a flight from Canada down to another country in Central or South America that connects with Costa Rica, that could be a possibility. But I already have it on my list to look at solutions. Like, what are people doing that are trying to come from Canada? Can we get visa extensions? I would say no. I've never heard of someone going to get a visa extension. Right now, the government's been automatically giving them, but that's going to end as of now in a month. In a month from today, March 2nd. All done. What is a good solution to internet for work from home? So I have a YouTube video on that too, because I worked on my computer for years before, like doing this full time as my business. And I have I have tips for like finding work online and how to find online jobs. I mean, there's a lot of jobs out there. You just got to go look for them. You got to make finding a job your full-time job, and then you find a job. That's what I always did. There's a lot of opportunities for working online, and I definitely have videos that cover that. Check the earlier videos. I think I had put quite a bit amount of focus on that. Okay, Josh asks, what do you think of Tinamaste and Rivas? I used to live in Tinamaste. It's awesome. Kind of a nice, down-to-earth, loving community. The road up there might, like, I don't mind it. It's windy. It's not fun to do at night. It is paved. So if like a really windy road might be a turnoff for you, that may not be a great area for you. But I love Tinamaste. It's beautiful. The people are very nice up there. It's great. Rivas is also a big choice for a lot of people moving to Costa Rica too. So that's close. That's going to put you further away from the beach. But again, great environment, great people, comfortable temperatures. So I like both of those areas. And I do recommend both of those areas for some clients. How big and scary are the bugs and spiders? Oh, they're not that bad. Depends where you are. I've seen some big spiders, but nothing. And I've seen scorpions, but nothing too crazy. Jaco or Manuel Antonio? Well, I've lived in both of those places, and they're both really different. I don't know how to explain it. Manuel Antonio is very touristy, but like all squished in. It's like, you know, if you go up this hill and go down this hill, and it's just lined with restaurants and hotels and all these things, and it's like a kind of a windy road up and down there. So there's just a lot. There's a lot going on there. I enjoyed living there for a bit years ago, and then I was like, all right, too many people. Get me out of here. Jaco is more like a miniature city. I can't even call it a city. I have a Jaco tour. And I don't think I have a full Manuel Antonio tour. I mean, the beach in Manuel Antonio is gorgeous. So I don't know. They're both very different. They're both very different. I would say my living experiences in both were very different. The communities were different in both. Manuel Antonio feels very fast-paced to me when I'm going to the beach. There's a lot of come park here and come do this. And it's a little overwhelming for me personally, but as a for tourism, I mean, I like going to the national park. It's beautiful. I was just there a few weeks ago. So yeah. Has crime gone up because of lost jobs? I'm not sure. I'm not sure on that one. What if you need to cancel your flight at the 90-day point due to illness? I'm not sure. Good question. I'm gonna put that on my list. Okay, let's see. What is the law on concealed weapons? Nothing crazy, just for protection. I'm not sure on that, so I'll look that up. Okay. Okay, I think that's about all the questions I see. I'm gonna look that up. I got a little list here that I'll go through and try to find some answers for things that I wasn't able to get covered. And I'll put that together in email. You can go to my website and subscribe, LostSarahAtlanta.com, if you want to get that email with some things that I maybe was not 100% sure on. Again, I don't like to give out any kind of misinformation. So if I'm not really sure on something, I'd rather just either ask a professional or look it up. And then, yeah, if you subscribe to the website, you'll get a few emails from me just introducing myself. And then they will stop. And then everything after that will just be like, I like to put things of value out there, information that you need to know, nothing spammy. But, you know, if someone's just newly acquainted to me, then it's nice I like people at least to get to know me a little bit better, what our journey's been like a little bit here. You know, my daughter was born here. I got pregnant like over a year after I moved here. And that's been a single parent. That's been an adventure. She's in preschool now, so that's awesome. And yeah, it's been good. It's been a ride. All right, any solution to Wi-Fi? What's the problem? Well, I mean, Wi-Fi, make sure if you really, really need good Wi-Fi, you're going to want to stick near like a more populated town. So like something that's wired in. Cabletica is a really good Wi-Fi provider. Say now in some areas has fiber optics. So something that's, if you rely on Wi-Fi heavily, don't get a chip that goes into a router. Because when it rains or it gets cloudy or the wind blows the wrong way, you're not going to have Wi-Fi. So, and you'll see some of my earlier lives within like a little bit earlier this year during the pandemic when I was living out in the middle of nowhere. I was all fuzzy and blurry because of my horrible Wi-Fi. But now I have 100 megabytes, so I'm pretty happy. But something that's wired in, that's not going to be affected. That's not going to, it's the rain's not going to affect. All right, this has been a while. I've been just talking your guys' ear off. Thank you for showing up. I hope this was helpful. I hope y'all are doing well. That's it. That's it. I'm done. So thanks for joining. If you're watching the replay, I hope you got something out of this, or if you've been on here, I hope that you guys were able to get something out of this and it was helpful. And I think next week I'm going to try and come on again with someone who's going to talk about shipping. So people have questions about shipping their household goods, cars, importing. So I had a meeting with him yesterday, and I will reveal his name later next week or later this week. But I'm super excited about it. We met for sunset yesterday and learned a lot about importing goods that I had no idea. It's a process. So that's something that will be coming up next. So if you missed me, go ahead and watch the replay. I'm going to hit this end broadcast button, and then it should process and show up within the Facebook group. It'll probably show up in the Facebook group before it does on the YouTube channel. So again, the links to whatever group and channel are here down in the description. And I'm going to add 2 videos, how to make money in Costa Rica and the residency interview video, because those are some questions that seem to come up more than once. All righty. As usual, have a great day. If you're moving to Costa Rica, you need help, you know where to reach me. I think you kind of have an idea what we do. And that's that. All right. Have a great day. Thanks for joining.